Starting January 26th at 3 p.m., it's a Sunday, I will be starting my RootWork modules, my RootWork programs. The first one is Loving Us for Real, Anti-Antiblackness for Black people. So I'm really excited about it. One of the things that I have learned as I've been on my journey towards loving, appreciating community and myself, has been like realizing like how much anti-Blackness I just sort of swallowed. And I thought, because of the upbringing that I'd had, that I was really, really good at noticing it. And what I've realized is that just like for people, we also struggle with insecurities when it comes to our Blackness. We struggle with being in community with other people when their anti-Blackness shows up. We struggle sometimes with recognizing the ways in which we are anti-Black. So this is really for folks who want to do a little bit better. It focuses on processes, principles, and practice. Not on, being whether or not your Black card has enough credit on it. It's nothing like that. So we're all coming to this conversation from different places and different spaces, and the goal is to learn how to deconstruct our own anti-Blackness as it exists within us, as it comes at us from, outside of the community, and also how to love each other through the anti-Blackness that we see in each other within the community. Because I think that's hard sometimes. Sometimes instead of one of the things that struck me about one night in Miami is that none of these men really agreed on how to do better, on how to look at Blackness, how to look at who they were. So for instance, you have Jim Brown, who is at odds with the world and himself. He historically, him and women had a hard time, and he was not into Black women at all. And he was and there are those who would say you can't be pro-Black and that, and date interracially, which honestly, I don't agree with, because some of our greatest leaders, some of our greatest thinkers have been people who have married outside of our race. And I refuse to think that James Baldwin and Nikki Giovanni are not pro-Black. I'm sorry. But it's stuff like that kind of like binary thinking that is very much rooted in WSC that I'll be like helping us to unpack, because it is so easy, whiteness is the jamming signal in Blackness, and hardly any of us are as secure in our and certain of our position as a Black person as we often pretend to be. And so these meetings, there'll be 4 meetings over 6 weeks. So these meetings will be opportunities for us to sit, to talk freely, openly, to get vulnerable, and to learn how to be more accepting of each other and also of ourselves, and to recognize and unpack when stuff comes at us that has nothing to do with us and everything to do with the systems in which we live. I'm still learning. I'm still on this journey myself, so I hope to benefit from it. But there is, I have I have inserted a nominal fee for, because it I gotta, y'all, it's bad out here. So the first session is 5 people, and after that there's a waiting list. If you go to my link tree, you will find Loving Us for Real, Anti-Blackness, Anti-Blackness for Black people. And I would love it if you joined in. I'm looking forward to this. I have a couple of more after this. But I do want to talk a little bit more about One Night in Miami and how it demonstrates this. These guys, they fought hard. And when you think about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr., they were on very, very different tracks. When you think about Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Thurgood Marshall, they also were on very different tracks. And when you watch these 4 men converse, while they seem to have more in common, ideologically, their paths are very different. And the conversation that Malcolm X has with Sam Cooke, it's powerful because you can see where they're both not wrong. They're both right. They both have points. And watching them fight, you could see Malcolm X fighting Sam Cooke for Sam Cooke. And there's not really love lost. It's this understanding that we don't agree. We don't agree. And we're mad and all of this stuff. But I'm not going to doubt that you mean well. And I think one of the things that Malcolm X in this conversation kind of got off on a little bit, he objected to Sam Cooke's direction and methods, and came close. He skated close to saying he didn't mean well. But what did Jim Brown recognize when he got to that place? He recognized that there was something up with his brother, that there was something up with Malcolm X, and he wanted him to talk. And that's when, those two sit down and have their conversation. And sometimes I wish we did that. I mean, I think we do a pretty good job of doing that for each other, especially in our groups where we know each other well. But I believe that there are some guiding principles that have been helpful to me in processing how I manage interactions with people whose ideologies are different from my own, but who still mean well for the community. And I want, for those of us who are on that path and who want to do a little bit better, this is what Loving Us for Real is about. So I hope you will join me. This, as I said, the sign up is in my link tree. Again, rewatch One Night in Miami. It's just such a beautiful movie. Thanks for watching. To support my channel, please subscribe and check out my Patreon.